Hi, my name is Michael Arroyo. I'm one of the lead developers for the BluSapphire cybersecurity platform. I'm also the creator and lead developer for BluGenie. BluGenie is a PowerShell-driven framework for threat hunting, data analysis, and remote administration. Let's check out some of the functions. In this session, we're going to discuss how to query for threats using Yara rules. Let's check it out. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we have the correct name. So we're going to search for Yara in our command list. So here we're going to do get command name, and we're going to use a wildcard Yara. Hit enter, and we can see that we have invoke BG Yara, an alias Yara, and then the real function name called invoke BluGenie Yara. So we're going to use the alias invoke BG Yara for this demo. Okay, so let's look at the help information for invoke BG Yara to understand a little bit more about what it can do. So here we're running the help. What you'll notice is that in the command description, it literally tells you that invoke BluGenie Yara is literally a wrapper around the Yara tool. Nothing crazy. It has some updates, some niceties, but overall, Yara is an amazing tool, and this is just a wrapper using a commandlet so that you can get all the options through PowerShell. So for this instance, you can see the parameters are listed here, and from the time of this video and the release, we're talking January 2021, we have all of the current arguments that are related to the project. So you'll see a list of them. You can go through them on the Yara's website. There is some identifications in here as well, but really our invoke BluGenie Yara is very, very simplistic, but utilizes some very common tasks. So the only thing that we need to really focus on is items to scan. So let's check that out real quick. Okay, so let's look at the command invoke BG Yara. So the only parameter that we need to focus on, truthfully, is items to scan. So items to scan is the directory or file that you're searching for. We can either pick a normal folder. So in this case, we're going to scan a folder called C source. And if we hit enter, actually, we're going to put output escape YAML so we can see the information clear text to the screen. Most of the time, or by default, it comes back as a hash table, and I want to view it in real time without making any other modifications. So in this instance, we're going to do an item scan against C source, and it's going to execute every rule in the Yara rules folder, and I'll show you where that is in a few minutes. Here we're going to actually scan this, and it's fairly quick, and you can see that we have a few rules. The one that it picked up on, and I'll show you the other ones, is files that are under 500 kilobytes. So it ran through everything under C source, and it told us what rules were actually processed. So comments is any errors that came up, items are all the items, and you could see the rule name, and then the file name that was found to have that rule flagged as true, and then rules, all the rules that were identified and ran. So like I said before, we can change these items paths to different things. In this case, we're actually going to separate this by a comma and use another folder, and we're going to call the ctemp directory as well. So you can run multiple folders at a time just by using the comma, so setting up a quick array. And here you can see not only did we scan the original C source, but we also scanned ctemp. And with that, you could see that it also picked up a couple of other rules. So over 100 kilobytes, that file, over 200 kilobytes, that file, and over 500 kilobytes, that file. So this particular file actually broke, or actually was flagged by 3 different rules. So this is how it works. This is how you would scan that. It's fairly straightforward on a true false rules. Yes, this was active. This is the file, so it's fairly simple. So now let's open the rules folder to take a look at what we have. So the rules folder by default is in the tools folder of BluGenie. So we're going to open up the tools folder. And here you're going to see a BlueBin folder. Underneath that is going to be the modules. The modules are the list of modules that are copied to the remote machine when the remote process is ran. Here we have the BluGenie module, and here we have configs. So under configs, you're going to see Yara rules, and here are the rules that we have currently. So we have under over 100 kilobytes, over 200 kilobytes, over 500 kilobytes, and under 500 kilobytes. So these are fairly straightforward and really, really simple. They're just looking at byte size of the file and giving you back a true false. This is more or less a quick test to see and make sure that everything is working correctly. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new Yara file, a new Yara rule, save it in here, and then see how fast this actions against that, as well as being able to select the specific rules that we want to use. Let's say we didn't want to use all of these. So let's do that right now. Okay, so let's start Notepad and start building our new Yara rule. Okay, so the Yara rule that we're going to build is going to query hash information. So the first line is importing the hash module. The hash module is a property or an external module that's used by Yara to actually generate the hash information. We're actually going to create the name called ADS Trojan. So we're looking for a known alternate data stream Trojan that's sitting in a specific folder that has a specific MD5 hash. The file size we're not worried about. We want any file size with this specific hash information. And you can see we can actually look for MD5, SHA-256, and there's a few others that are not noted in this text, but you can always grab those from the Yara website. So here we're actually going to save this. In that folder, so BlueBin, modules, BluGenie, configs our rules, and here we're actually going to change this to all files, all types. So now we can see the Yara rules that are already there, and we're just going to name this ADS Trojan. And that's my fault actually. It should be, this is actually a good to note. If the file does not have a YAR extension, YAR, it will not apply. So you can leave this file in there. You can create notes, you can create other scripts. They will not be applied. They will get copied, but they will not be applied to the system. So we're actually just going to change this to YAR. So now that file will actually process. Okay. So now let's go back to our previous line, and we were looking at csource and ctemp, and we were outporting YAML. Quickly run through there, and now you can see that under our rules section, the ADS Trojan YAR was actually applied automatically without us selecting anything. So this is awesome. You just drop a YAR file in there, and your config scans, and it's ready to go, automatically picked up. You can see under the items section, each one of the items that had a rule that was flagged, and we have several ADS Trojans that were picked up. So here you can see csource test.txt had an ADS Trojan for the copy of that file was picked up, and another one that we see right here, csource notepad.exe. So what we can tell is someone or something was trying to take this test.txt and convert it to look like notepad.exe, and it was still picked up because of its hash information. Okay, so now Now we know that that's scanning. Let's say we want to pick up 2 or 3 rules out of our rules list. So we can actually pick up rules just by typing in the rule parameter, and the rule parameter is managed by regex. So the way to look for multiple files or a single file will actually run just something that has ADS in it. So now we're going to pull any Yara rule that has ADS in the name, and we'll query this real fast. And we'll actually take ctemp off just to make our queries a little faster at this moment. So here you can see the Yara rule that was picked up was ADS Trojan based on our rule name ADS. Here we have 3 items that were picked up. The ADS Trojan is the name, the rule name, and these are the 3 files that were picked up immediately in that directory. So we know to investigate those 3 files. If we wanted to add something else to this, let's say we wanted to do, let's say we wanted to also add the over, or let's say under 500 kilobytes. We can actually add that as well by putting the pipe command in, or the pipe character in, rather, in regex. This is going to do an OR, and now we can actually just type in anything else. So here we could say underscore 500 KB. That's it. We're going to run that again. And now you can see a lot more items were picked up. Rule names, we have 2 rules that were picked up, ADS and under 500 KB. And for items, we have multiple instances of under 500 KB as well as the ADS Trojans. Okay, so now that we have our command and we know it's working, we picked up on a couple of local rules. The one thing that we do not need any longer is the out Yara or out YAML. The out YAML is just a formatter that's placed so you can see in real time in the foreground what the information is. But by default, when you're sending this as a remote command, you're actually going to allow it to use a hash table. The hash table will get converted to JSON when it's brought back to the responder, back to BluGenie's parent process. So this instance, we're actually going to add it to our command section. So here we're going to do commands -add, and then we're going to do double quotes. The reason we're using double quotes on this string is because we've already identified single quotes as an identifier for the rules. So we're not breaking our string. We're adding that item into our settings configuration. So now if we look at settings, you can see under commands, we have Invoke Yara. We're looking for CSource. The rules name is ADS and under 500 KB. Again, you would just add your systems. So here we're going to do add Windows 7 SP1 001, Windows 10 002, so on and so forth. List the names, whatever you want to do. If you look at settings, you can see they're now applied. The one thing we need to do is if these Yara rules were updated in any way and you want to resend the BluGenie information to a machine that has never ran this information before, you need to update the modules. So this parameter right here, update modules, update mods equals false. You can see that this is set. This can be set in the JSON. This one can also be set here in a variable. So here, if you type in bg update mods equals true, and then look at settings again, you'll notice that update mods is now true. What that flag will do is it will tell BluGenie to copy over any missing data from this machine that's not on the remote machine. Copy it over to that remote machine so it has it. So the Yara rules, obviously, we created a new rule, and you can create more. And once you want to send those to the remote machines to update them, and that's in any manner, any specific instance of a BluGenie module that's updated, a script, another third-party module, anything, and you want it to update the remote session, you just update this update mods flag and then run your command, and those items will be copied to the remote machine and processed as normal. All right, so now our jobs have completed. We're going to open up the logdir. There we go. And here we have our completed items. Completed items, we can see the two JSON files, the two jobs that were ran. So we're going to look at SP1001. We're going to open up that in Notepad. Again, we have a JSON viewer plugin in our Notepad++ that will format this information for us. So here you can see under the Windows 7 SP1001, two rules were ran. There was no errors, no items found for that particular instance. Let's check the other one. Here we could see that we have the two rules that were applied were the ADS Trojan and under 500 KB. And this one picked up 3 items in that folder C source under 500 kilobytes, and these are the three files that were flagged. So you can see that one machine did not have any threats. This one had 3 threats that were found using Yara. And that's it. That's a quick overview on how to use Invoke BG Yara. So thank you for joining me for this session. Join me for another session where we go into further details about BluGenie.